What up, everyone? This is Mr. Lord, Dr. Professor Dark Joker, here with another edition of Traditional Fans with Opinions, where I'll give my reviews for whoever I watched, read, or played today. And who are Traditional Fans with Opinions? That is myself, and that is you, the viewers. With all that being said, on with the reviews. Bye, family. Season 3, Episode 12. So, in this episode, so Twilight learns that basically the SSS agents that are there realize he's this guy's Wheeler, but he knows they know he's Twilight, so he then so he activates a trap in the fountain, and to help himself escape, and the firefight starts. He flees. There are traps he had set up. He flees into the sewer, and then so Yuri and another SSS agent are arrive at the woods that Twilight had fled into. Yuri notices his footprints, and even though he had not walked through there, so he realizes that Twilight must have fled to her. So he tells the other agent that he's going in there after Twilight, and for them to ask for them to send backup. So Yuri then comes across Twilight, who at that point is disguised as Yuri, and so they fight. Like Twilight's shocked at seeing Yuri, and he doesn't necessarily. Normally, he would probably just kill him, but there's a whole issue of he's into marriage with Yor, and so but Yuri shoots Twilight, and then why same time Twilight gets shot, Yor in the house accidentally drops one of Lloyd's plates and cuts her finger, and she's wondering whether or not Lloyd's gonna be back. So it's kind of interesting how they have it happen at the same time. So then Twilight shot in the arm, so it's not like a fatal wound or anything, but so they keep finding like Yuri's hard to knock down because he's very resilient due to well, probably due to his diet from when he was a kid, being raised by Yor, who sucks at cooking, and well, which I think does help him when it comes to poisons, and Yor's strength. So he Yuri could take some punishment, but Twilight eventually knocks him out. He has like the little pipe or whatever, metal pipe. He considers killing Yuri, but decides not to because of Yor, and so he leaves. And then then Wheeler basically is being tailed by Nightfall and another Wise agent, and so basically he tries to escape, and then he flees from them, and he injures one of the Wise agents, and then Nightfall chases him, and so Wheeler flees to source, comes across Twilight when he's still disguised as Yuri. By the sound, he uses the sound of Twilight's footprints revealed to Yuri that revealed to Wheeler that Twilight was fleeing and that he's not Yuri Briar. So he realizes he was Twilight. So he and Twilight, they worked on a mission together, but they didn't meet face to face during that mission. And so Twilight fights Wheeler. Wheeler knocks him out because Twilight's already injured. If he was in full health, I don't think Wheeler would have won. And so Nightfall sees Twilight. When she learns it's Twilight because Skies is still there. Once the mask starts getting taken off, she gets pissed off, and so Wheeler threatens. So earlier, the agent that Wheeler injured, when Wheeler took that agent hostage, threatened Nightfall to drop her weapon on it. Nightfall basically refused because they're all there, you know, knowing that each day could be their last. Now, when Twilight's held hostage, she predictably does not she relents. She drops her weapon. She's pissed. Like she is pissed. Like there's like some dark aura around her, and then she charges at Wheeler, going really fast. and she punches Wheeler and knocks him out. And then so other SSS agents come across Yuri. Not Yuri wonders why Twilight spared him. He's wondering like so he was wondering during the fight with Twilight if like the detail had to do with Twilight being someone who was closely observing him, or if and so and then he's like, why he spare? He's wondering why Twilight spared him. He's like, was he? Did he think he was dead? Yuri was already dead? Did he think he was not worth killing? If it's not any of those, then and he's like, what is it? So it's like he's like he's getting close to deducing that it's Lloyd, but it's like it's like he's so dumb. I mean, the Briars are not smart. So like, and so he's like, he has no common sense. He's like, who is it then? Because like, I mean, look, eventually, odds are, eventually Yuri is gonna learn that Twilight is Lloyd. That's odds are, eventually that's gonna happen. Hasn't happened yet in the anime or manga, but eventually that's gonna happen. And of course, bunch of everyone's dirty laundry is going to be out there, at least within the whole Forager Briar family. Eventually, not yet, not yet. But yeah, it was. Yeah, I thought this was a good episode. Twilight's interactions with all the SSS agents were great. Obviously, his fight with Yuri being a highlight. Then Nightfall is just freaking hilarious. Like Wheeler was a cool villain, and then Nightfall, just her reaction, Twilight gave be like it's funny. She's like basically she's thinking about if she dies, Twilight. Well, she's thinking Twilight would be sad, but then she's remembering that Twilight would be crying about Nightfall to Yor, then Yor would help him forget, as in they would get it on, and 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 Nightfall's like, no, I cannot let that happen. And she's like, I need to live, replace your, and and they can do full death do us part. It's so funny. Like Nightfall's inner thoughts are just hilarious. It's funny because you see um, you see her blank face and you hear her inner thoughts. It's just funny. So yeah, I thought this was a really good episode. Looking forward to the next one. Kingdom, Season 6, Episode 12. So, in this episode, Min Tien's idea to rally the Malquan's troops is to have one, basically, second command yell that Malquan's alive and basically say, oh no, he's alive, he's just injured. And that, basically, and use words that, Malquan will use in order to rally the troops, and it works. Like, they're on the left flank's able to rally, and they're able to push back the Zhao troops. And, everyone compliments Mintian's leadership, and basically, so Wang Jian says that Mintian's rank is too low to be commanding an army like Ma Quan. So basically, Wang Jian he uses this discretion as the leading general for this war to say for the time being, in the name of for the time being of this war, basically Mentian will be given the rank of general, temporarily, and basically given command over the left flank. And then he has Shin move towards the right flank where Wayne Ben's at, and that battle is getting hard. So yeah, it looks like Shin's gonna be involved in that one. So it looks like there's because obviously in history Shin at least definitely becomes a general. That does happen. In history, with Mentian actually being his second command. That's actually in history. So yeah, so in this is gonna be interesting how this was interesting how they show this. Should be interesting. I think I like this episode. I like the combat, how the strategy worked, how they were to get the troops to rally. Like I thought it was a really good episode. Looking forward to the next one. To Your Eternity, Season 3, Episode 12. So in this one, so Fushi disguises himself as a bird to observe the Funa and Mizuha knockers. Um, yeah, so basically, yeah, so it's so they recognize him, say hey, he should show up if he wants to be unless he wants to be counted absent, because Fushi Bond arranged for Fushi and Tanari to go to school, but obviously Fushi doesn't take that seriously. To my knowledge, I guess Tanari does, and I guess March does, but I guess with her age. And yeah, and then there's a weird then Yuki I guess is able to talk peacefully with the two knockers. He knows they're knockers, so mostly it's because he basically was able to I guess shake their hand. And I guess Yuki tells Fushi that that's the first step in trying to get a peaceful resolution is a handshake. Like it's just the first step. Obviously, it's not that ain't the end goal. It's the first step in getting peace. And but Yuki's also trying to find a way. He tells Fushi he believes that the reason knockers are able to communicate is through their eyes, and that so there are knockers in heaven that observe everyone's movements, and that's how they be able to learn some information. And Yuki says he's trying to find a way to communicate with Fushi without the ones in heaven knowing. So his idea is to create these clay pots, and then Fushi would take the form of Echo's brother in order to yeah, and in order to basically in order to see, so he would see Yuki's memories or whatever thoughts, to where he can Yuki can send information through that. So basically, Fushi takes the form of Echo's brother, and then you know touches the clay pot that Yuki makes, and Yuki's memories would show Fushi some information. Basically, it's like a workaround. My only question is that okay, doesn't Yuki still have to say some things that the knockers might hear or think some things? I don't know exactly how it works. It's definitely interesting. Definitely a interesting way to transfer information, I will say. And and there's basically then so and Yuki believes that the knockers they want to take over some human bodies and guide I guess their essences to paradise or heaven, whatever, to the afterlife, and that they don't like Fushi. Because Fushi's like a mystery, and the only one who may know how to the way to defeat Fushi, I guess, for the knockers is to go through the beholder. And so Fushi and Yuki realize that the beholder is being targeted. So he goes to find him, who's still in beholder's still formidable. And so the Funa knocker goes after it goes after the beholder, and Fushi goes in after her, and then so Funa holds this little girl who's the sister of the beholder's guardian. Funa takes that girl hostage, and then yeah, so once Fushi basically, so there's like a cut on the girl's arm, on the girl's neck. Fushi exam, but the wound's gone, and Fushi's in stabbed with a poison like needle, and then but he makes a duplicate before right before so he then knocks her out. So it's revealed that the little girl's a knocker. So he fought. So the beholder basically early like wrecks the Funa knocker. He can transform stuff, so he transforms the Funa knocker's spear like into a bird, and then he transforms Funa's body into a flower. Then he like pulls the knocker out and burns it. So Funa's dead. Funa's completely dead, along with the knocker. Fushi like asks the beholder if he's all right. Beholder explains what happened. Now the Fuller's guardian sees Fushi. He's like, "Hey, how'd you get in here? I'm gonna call the cops." And but then while the little, like the girl like she wakes up. So basically, while she's examining the guardians like examining like her sister, makes sure she's all right. Fushi and the beholder get out of the house and talk. So Fushi tells Beholder about the little girl being knocker. Beholder says he already knows that, and that basically like, and Fushi wants the Beholder to help him kill the knockers. Beholder says no. Basically says like the Beholder's concerns were that they're like if the knockers are not like a big threat, like basically sent and basically the girl who was possessed by a knocker, it was a full merger, so that girl was dead. Basically she flatlined, had some illness, she flatlined, but then as far as everyone else was concerned, came back to life, but it was actually a knocker possessing her. And so Bowler says he doesn't want to deprive that family of its happiness. And Fushi says like, oh well, knocker just living so like that can't be right. And Beholder asks Fushi about him since he uses the bodies of others to like shapeshift and travel around. Fushi says it's different because the boy like whose form he takes the most like told him to like basically like live through him or whatever, like live for him. And so yeah, so basically does bring some philosophical debates for because look, the knockers in the old era, they were definitely evil, definitely just straight up trying to murder people. While current day they are a lot more peaceful, so it does bring some it does bring some philosophical debate, and so yeah, so honestly things are about to pick up. You know, gonna be interesting how like they cut like how like Fusi adjusts to like the beholder, like how he does things, like how he just wants to stay out of it. So yeah, I like this episode. I liked how the philosophical stuff. I liked how they showed like the beholder, like his powers, like how basically how powerful he is. Like he is insane. So yeah, I thought this was a good episode. Looking forward to the next one. Tojima wants to be a Kamen Rider, episode 12. So in this episode, so a week after the tournament, um, basically Tojima and all his allies they meet up at Fudaba's pub. So Ichio basically tells Yuriko he has feelings for her, and basically Yuriko does not reciprocate. Ichio says, regardless of what she feels about him, he will still have feelings for her, even if it's unrequited. And so everyone starts, eating some of the food, getting drunk. So Yukarisu detects like that there's someone from Chakra nearby, And it ends up being the cow who's in the other part of the pub who also senses someone. Basically, they're sensing each other. And so Yukarisu thinks the cow is sent by Shocker the killer, so she transforms and attacks him. The cow transforms and basically overwhelms Yukarisu due like he already had some high strength before being transformed, and so the fight gets into so, so Futaba uh, beats up the cow basically because he's making noise, being annoying, and then the fight gets inside of the room where all the riders are, and so basically the cow's beaten, um, like beaten up by the riders. And so Tojima and Yuriko recognize him from the Shocker robberies, and then Batman, Spider-Man meet on a rooftop. Like, and that's how the episode ends. So, for reference, Batman and Spider-Man are Shocker monsters. They're not. It's not that the Spider-Man, Batman that we know of in Marvel, DC. Yeah, that would be some rights issues there. You know, but yeah. Honestly, it would be funny if they did like a Batman Spider-Man joke. Like, it'd be funny, like if someone like it'd be funny if a character made a joke about the Marvel DC characters of the same name. That would be funny. Anyway, I thought it was a good episode. It was a good just a good funny episode to obviously like so the cow, I guess he's independent from Shocker. He's not rebelling against Shocker. He's just doing his own thing. Obviously, once Shocker starts making moves, you know, also things are going to be interesting with him. Yeah. So yeah, I thought this was a good episode. Like it was just freaking funny. I thought it was hilarious. Like Fudaba's like, how old are y'all? Like, are y'all a bunch of like? He's like with all like the common references. She's like, y'all are y'all are adults, right? Because it's like they're like basically superhero otakus like cosplaying. Well, okay, the Shocker ones, no, they're actually Shocker. Although I mean, there's some questions like if Shocker's real, are there actual common writers? Like I haven't read the manga, so I don't know if it gets into it. It'd be kind of funny, or also it'd also be funny if like the real Shocker within this show was just made by a guy who liked Shocker and Kamen Rider. That would just be funny if fit right in. But yeah, I thought this was a good episode. Looking forward to the next one. Born After the Apocalypse, episode 12 and full series. So so in this episode, so Yoko and Irie travel to along the Venus line towards Kiriga mine. Basically there's some fog and landslide issues. So they had stopped for a little bit and they're at a band tea house. They hike on foot to to the summit of Mount Mitsumai. And so Yoko sees a Brock inspector and she almost loses her footing because she thinks what is actually her shadow in the fog is like a person staying there. But Irie prevents her from falling, and so basically, so they're able to see a view of the sea and the ruins of Mount Fuji where they started. And Yoko remembers her life in the shelter. Basically, there was like a some basically some underground facility where like they basically it was like a school for them. They're being trained and remotely by their big sisters surviving the outside world. And once they were allowed to leave, the facilities shut down. And Yoko resolves to like basically to like travel as far as she can. Like so like and basically Yoko and I just continue traveling. So we don't. There's a lot of mysteries regarding what caused this apocalypse. Like, is every other human dead? Like, what happened? Like, what exactly is Yoko? Because there are questions whether or not she's a clone or a android or something. Like, it's unknown. There's a lot of mysteries now. As far as the show is concerned, now the manga, to my knowledge, is still going on. Like, so to my knowledge, that's still going on. So I don't know if the manga has explained what's going on, but obviously the anime has definitely not explained everything. And who knows, maybe the manga doesn't explain. It's like, yeah, there's just them traveling, and that's fine. So yeah, I thought this was a good episode, interesting way, good way to end the series. I thought this show was interesting, very episodic. Basically it's like like tourist attraction of the week, basically, kind of like Zatsutami was. And you had all the sci-fi stuff, some AI, and yeah, it's just a good, simple story. That was a decent show. Yeah, hopefully, I'd be fine if we get a season two. Digimon Beatbreak episode 12. So in this one, so basically everyone's dealing with the fallout the previous episode's events. So you have the issues between Tomoro and Gekomon, and you have the whole deal of it being revealed that Kyo's like a was a former member of the Five Stars or whatever. And so yeah, and we got Gekomon going berserk. So everyone's Tomoro considers quitting the Glowing Dawn. So yeah, I and basically so Gekomon and Tomoro have to deal with their stuff. And so Tomoro leaves, but then like the Glowing Dawn's attacked, and and Tomoro remembers like thinking about like talk when his brother was taking care of him, like with his parents, like you know basically arrested for whatever reason. But yeah, so yeah, it was interesting how it was. There was a lot of build up, and when the Glowing Dawn's attack looks like by another one of the Five Stars. So Toblerone and Gekomon arrived to help save them, and Gekomon digivolves. So and you see like there's like an insert song playing there in the digital. So when there's an insert song played, crap's about to go down. Like that's just one of the rules of anime. When some insert songs played, or if an opening or ending themes played, like, oh, crap's going down. So yeah, I thought, and yeah, so yeah, it was freaking cool. And so yeah, so and basically, Tomura and Gekomon save their allies, and yeah. So yeah, I thought this was a really good episode. Liked how they handled Tomura, like all the stuff he's dealing with, and then the Digivolve I was like, yes, finally we get some. We yeah, I was like, yes, we got Gekomon Digivolving. So yeah, I thought this was a really good episode. Looking forward to the next one. Blue Miburo season 2 episode 1. So this season started today. So this episode, so the Miburo, who the future becomes the Senshingumi, they travel around. Basically, there's in their area, being samurai, and so you have Tonika Taro, who is Neo's friend. He like travels or he basically is walking around the town, and he comes across Serizawa Kamo uh murdering someone, and the other Miburo learn about it. They try have Serizawa explain it. Serizawa's no remorseful. Taro is just shocked, like he's just in shock at what happened. And then you see the victim, so the guy who Serizawa killed, his friends like surround this, basically wanting to evade. They're like sumo wrestlers. They're surrounding the area, and then so Serizawa is okay. Like he's like he looked forward to a fight, so he starts attacking them, and then he's blocked by one of your swordsmen. So yeah, so basically it's showing that this is what they're according to some of Neo's narration. It looks like this is when there's some cracks are starting to show in the group. And yeah, so this is gonna be interesting. So yeah, this is gonna be a big story. I mean, for what I've seen, like stuff with this arc, like this is apparently a very important arc. I've not read the manga, so and obviously some history is involved in this. And yeah, so and basically Series Alcala in history was actually the original leader of the Shinsengumi. So he basically so this was a I thought this was a good episode, good way to start what's going on, like start this arc. So yeah, I things are about to pick up really quick. Looks like so. Yeah, I thought this was a good episode. Looking forward to the next one. The Great Flood. So this is a Korean movie that premiered on Netflix. So basically, there is a flood starts, and basically, so an asteroid had like hit Antarctica and caused like the water levels to rise, and basically a large portion of the Earth gets flooded. So the main character in this is Anna, who's like a researcher. Basically involves something called some AI thing called emotion engine. So during like the first part of the movie, basically she's just trying to escape the flood, and like she like is taken on, and basically she and this one guy helps her like get out, like helps her and her son Jinha Jin whatever, like get like basically get up, and then yeah, and then like basically that guy is the guy who helps them is killed by I guess the employers, and then she's you know take over. But then like you see a loop of like some stuff repeating, like the flood and all that, and eventually it's revealed that so Anna in a is basically her mind is like in like a constant loop, like a simulation. So like complete the emotion engine, basically Jawin that you see through a lot of it is an AI designed to learn human emotions. And that basically Anne's plugged in something I guess to help the AI learn. And basically the loop thing basically like she's trying to like hold all these various iterations is her trying to find Jawin. And then and basically the dude once the AI learns about selflessness, like helping a woman give birth, refusing to abandon a child. Basically, the whole experiment was to make the AI have empathy. So, and then at the end, you see the versions of Anna and John show at the very end. They're not the originals; they're synthetics that have been programmed with the emotion engine. and they're sent back to a post-flood Earth to restart human civilization. That I guess is supposed to be more kind. So now one question comes: so they're synthetics. Do they age, or are they basically just robots? So that's like a question. So yeah, I thought it was a decent movie. You know, it was interesting the whole flood thing, and like basically went from survival thriller to just being like a sci-fi, like basically in a simulation the entire time. Like when I saw the simulation, I was like, "The frick is going on?" I was like, "What the heck?" Especially when stuff started repeating, I was like, "Okay." But yeah, like the last half of the movie, it can get confusing at times, but I thought it was entertaining regardless. So yeah, interesting story. Like basically like now how like human civilization can be restarted by synthetics. I don't know. Like, cause I don't know. Like, are they robots? Are they like are they at least like do they have a human organs or whatever? And so yeah, I thought this was a interesting movie. So yeah, I recommend checking it out. Avatar: Fire and Ash. So this takes place very shortly after the second movie. So Neteyam's death is still very fresh in everyone's mind. So Netiri basically hates all humans now, and so Loak helps Jake recover some like some of the wreckage of the RDA ship to basically weapons that can be used against the humans. And then so one of the issues that happens is Spider um basically due to he's human, he can't breathe, Pandoran air, and basically his mask is running out. His masks are running out, so basically and so Jake's idea is to send Spider to basically to where to the facility where the other humans are at that are friends with the Navi, so that he can actually have somewhere to live and not die. You know, all the children are not happy about it. They want Spiral, but and Spiral will stay. But basically, so Jake says basically they'll all go with him. So they convinced so there's a some merchant ship. So you have these air merchants. So I guess that's supposed to be, I guess, because the whole joke about you had the water people in the second movie, then you had I guess the fire tribe in this one. So it was like, all right, so air, earth, and we're gonna get full on Avatar: Last Airbender. So I guess with the air merchants, that probably means that the clan that the Tiri was a part of is the Earth, basically is like the Earth Kingdom, and I guess the air merchants are like the air nomads. So I'm guessing. Yeah. So anyway, so Jake offers to act as guards for the air merchants in exchange for passage. So, so they're in Shrimp. This the Ash people called a tribe called the Mengquang. Like they raid the merchant fleet and kill a lot of the people, loot, and basically everyone's separated. So Loak, uh, Kiri, Spider, uh, and and Tuck are they flee, and but Spider he basically his batteries are about to run out for his mask. And then yeah, so you know, basically then like so they're chased by man, the main Kwong, and main Kwong Raiders are led by Vron, and so Quar Quartz are like Miles Quartz and Lyle Wainfleet. They find Jake, capture him. Basically, when Quartz hears about Spire being in trouble, he asks Jake if he could track him. So basically, like Jake and Quartz like reluctantly form an alliance to save Spider. So and Veron got interested in guns after seeing it being used. So she tries to get after capturing the kids, she tries to get Lowak to tell her how I guess make thunder as she called it. But I guess the gun basically the ammo's out where. So Quartz and Jake and Wild arrive. So basically Quartz holds Veron hostage and teaches her how to use guns, and then basically yeah, so so then Jake, Quaritch, um Lowak, Tuck, Kiri, and Spider are captured, but then they're Kiri uses some of her A1 power to command some like local plants to kill the ones guarding them so that they could get their weapons and escape. So they escape. Uh, Quartz and Wainfleet get out of there, and so but while they're running, now one of the things that happens while the kids are all separated before then is that so Spire's about to die, and so what Kiri does is connects her hair like basically to the ground to adjust Spire's body to make it where he can breathe air, like Pandoran air, so he doesn't need a mask. And basically, so when like Jake and Quartz arrive at camp, they're weirded out. They're like, "What the heck's going on?" So Spider can breathe, and then so Natiri, who was injured during the raid, basically she heals. She arrives with some of the her people, and then basically everyone's trying to deal with the fact that that Spider can breathe Pandoran air, and there's a concern about you know the RDA replicating it so humans can live on Pandora without needing mask. Natiri recommends just killing Spider to prevent, I guess, his DNA from falling into the RDA's hands. Sully doesn't like that idea, and then yeah, so after that, so there's a whole issue of so the Tolkiens, those are like the space whales, where they banish Paikin for attacking hunting ships, and so Quaritch, in order to get Sully and capture Sully and Spire, he goes to the to the main Kwang's village, offers him weapons in exchange for alliance. Vron agrees, and basically she and Quaritch start screwing each other. And then yeah, so Kiri helps Spider basically bond with wildlife, and like basically you know like basically they kiss. It's obviously they're into each other, and but they're ambushed, and Spider's captured by Quadrant like Quaritch, and Quaritch and Varog leave their people to the Metkayina village and ask for Jake, or else like basically everyone's gonna die. Jake surrenders to save everyone, and he and Spire take it to the RDA base. And so Lowak had fled. And basically, he Siraya, Onon, and Roxo, who were his friends, basically. So they were against Payakin being attacked, being like excommunicated, and very vocally against it. And basically, they ran off trying to find Payakin. And so, Loak went by himself, and then the other three came after him. And so another Tolkien, a survivor of a Tolkien of group, shows his wounds, and Pike and like arrives. Then, so basically, there's a main event that's going on that all the Tolkien are going around for. Now, if the Tolkien are hunted, that there's a lot of prey behind by the. So RDA plans to attack that, the War People village during that event. And so now one biologist named Ian Garvin opposes the idea. No one cares what he has to say. And so Natiri sneaks into the RDA base, and Garvin like uses a bulldozer to free Jake, and Spider like basically helps Jake evacuate. And so them and Natiri escape, and Garvin, well, I guess nothing happens to him. So yeah, so Jake decides that Spire should die in order to play, but Terry says no, but then like basically Jake takes Spider out into the woods. He's about to kill him, but he decides not to. And Terry right, basically accepts Spider as part of the family. And yeah, so basically Jake wants to have me with the Tolkien Council to warn about what's going to happen. Tolkien House don't want to get involved, but Law brings Pyken and Tanok. Tanok's the survivor that attack on Pyken's pod. And so the Tolkien Council go away to reconsider. And so Jake rebonds with Toruk and basically rallies all the Navi clans for a fight. And so the Tolkiens, they join the fight and they fight the RDA. Then Quaritch, who was basically he was like grounded by like the I guess the main like human general whatever, General Francis Ardmore, basically for I guess like she did not want the Mon Quang involved, like so she grounded Quaritch and basically wanted to do things herself. But knowing things were good, Quaritch has the Mon Quang join him, and it does help turn tide in the RDA's favor. And then you have Ronald, who's like the Sahik of the Metkayina. She's more when she dies in childbirth. The Tiri takes care of her baby, whose name is Krill, but she's captured. And there's a whole thing with Loak was protecting the Tuck and Kiri, but Kiri runs off, goes into the water to talk with Awa, and so Tuck and Spider go like join and try to help get there, and they see, I guess, the face of briefly see part of the face of Awa, and and basically, they were able to, I guess, get out. Like, but Tuck is captured, and then a bunch of animals come in to help, basically being told by Awa to help, and yeah, so then, and then so Spire and Kira sneak aboard ship. Spire offers to surrender herself to Quaritch before, like, to save, Tuck and the Tiri. And so then you have, so Kiri saves a Tiri from Vrong. Vrong just leaves, and then a little bit. So there's like some magnetic thing going. So a bunch of ships get destroyed. So basically, like like well, there's a lot of like humans getting destroyed, like some magnet flux or it's going on. So Jake and Quartz fight inside the flux. Spire like is there as well. Spire shoots Quartz in the arm. Within Spire, he falls off of Floyd Rock, but Quartz catches him, and Jake pulls them both up. And basically, the Tyrion, everyone else arrives, and basically Jake tells Quartz he has a choice. Basically, he could join them, but Quartz basically refuses and jumps off the rock and falls towards the flux. So we don't know what happens to him. Possibility he's dead, possibility he's still alive. And so basically, all survivors they connect to the spirit trees in the bottom, where he basically like Spire's like inducted into the into the tribe, whatever, and meets everyone. So you see all the people that died in the first movie, they're shown. Everyone that died in the second movie shown. And yeah, and you see like basically this light the number from the trees surrounding the whole like moon, whatever. So basically, it's like AWOL is like some planet-wide consciousness, whatever. So yeah, I did not like this movie. Like, so here's what I say. So the first half of the movie, it does not have the pacing issues of so the second movie has a bunch of pacing issues. Like there's like basically the second movie, basically if that was like a TV show, would have been so much better. Like the second movie, this one, the first half it doesn't have as bad of pacing issues. I mean, it's still like second half is freaking awful with pacing issues. Like basically they don't develop a solely wanting to kill Spider at all. Like that's not done well. And like it just second half was just really dumb. Like the idea of having like okay, you have an evil tribe that's gonna help the humans. Okay, something to work with. And then like the fact that Varong's alive made no sense. Like why is she not dead? I mean, I know you probably want to put her in Avatar 4, but come on, just kill her. Like they should have had Natiri kill her. 'Cause obviously they're setting up that final fight. And yeah, I thought this wasn't good. Like basically, yeah. So the first half doesn't have the pacing issues. It's just mid. Like it's got the first half's coming, but the second half, like it is not good at all. It is not good. It has such bad pace issues. The writing's bad. Like like the second half is not doesn't really have too many like interesting concepts. Like first half introduces some interesting stuff. It just executes it not very well. And second half it's just not good. So yeah, I cannot recommend this movie. Well, and that's it. Did y'all like the stuff I reviewed? And if you have your own opinions about all that, you can put all that in the comments. Thank you for watching, and like, subscribe, and all that. And look forward to the next video.